The mysterious case of Jack the Ripper. Serial killers are some of the most fascinating and terrifying individuals in the chronicles of crime. Their brutal and calculated murders send shivers down our spines and leave us questioning the depths of human depravity. These individuals are often shrouded in a cloak of mystery, as their twisted minds and motives are difficult to comprehend. But their stories are impossible to ignore, as they have left a lasting impact on society and the criminal justice system. From the cunning and charismatic Ted Bundy to the sinister and sadistic John Wayne Gacy, the world of serial killers is a dark and chilling one. Welcome to the Media Geek, the arena with engaging and informative weekly videos. Before moving on, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to extend your support. In the late 1800s, the streets of London's Whitechapel district were plagued by a shadowy figure known as Jack the Ripper. This mysterious killer brutally murdered at least 5 women, all of whom were prostitutes, in a spree of violence that lasted from August to November of 1888. The identity of the killer remains unknown to this day, and the case remains one of the most famous unsolved murders in history. Today, we are going to uncover the mystery of one of the most infamous serial killers in history, Jack the Ripper. We will take a deep dive into the crimes, suspects, and theories surrounding Jack the Ripper. In the late 1800s, the streets of London's Whitechapel district were plagued by a shadowy figure known as Jack the Ripper. This mysterious killer brutally murdered at least 5 women, all of whom were prostitutes. The identity of the killer remains unknown to this day, and the case remains one of the most famous unsolved murders in history. The murders themselves were gruesome and brutal, with the killer often mutilating and disemboweling his victims. The police were unable to catch the killer, despite an extensive manhunt and numerous suspects. The public was gripped by fear and fascination as the murders continued, and the press coverage only added to the frenzy. The suspects. The police were unable to catch the killer, despite an extensive manhunt and numerous suspects. Some of the most well-known suspects include Montague John Druitt, a lawyer and teacher who was found drowned in the Thames River shortly after the murders stopped. Some theories suggest that he may have been driven to murder by a family history of insanity. George Chapman, a Polish-born barber who was known to frequent the Whitechapel area and was eventually convicted of poisoning 3 of his mistresses. Dr. Thomas Neil Crean, a Canadian-born doctor who was eventually convicted and hanged for the murder of 4 women, though he was never officially considered a suspect in the Ripper case. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish-born barber who was considered a suspect at the time and was put into a mental asylum after the killings. The killings. Jack the Ripper is believed to have killed at least 5 women in the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. These women, known as the Canonical Five, were all prostitutes, and their murders were characterized by extreme violence and mutilation. The first known victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was found murdered on August 31, 1888, her throat cut and her body mutilated. The second victim, Annie Chapman, was found murdered on September 8, 1888, with her throat also cut and her body similarly mutilated. The third victim, Elizabeth Stride, was found murdered on September 30, 1888, with her throat cut but her body not mutilated. The fourth victim, Catherine Eddowes, was found murdered on September 30, 1888, also with her throat cut and her body mutilated. The fifth and final victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was found murdered on November 9, 1888, in the most brutal and gruesome of all the murders, with her throat cut and her body extensively mutilated. The police were unable to catch the killer, despite an extensive manhunt and numerous suspects. The public was gripped by fear and fascination as the murders continued, and the press coverage only added to the frenzy. The murders stopped abruptly after the murder of Mary Jane Kelly, and the killer was never caught or identified. The case remains one of the most famous unsolved murders in history. Theories on the identity of the unapprehended killer. Over the years, many theories have been put forth about the identity of Jack the Ripper, including the theory that he was a member of the royal family, a doctor, or even a woman. However, no conclusive evidence has been found to support any of these theories. There are many theories about the identity of Jack the Ripper, but none have been conclusively proven. Some of the most popular theories include: Number 1. The Royal Conspiracy Theory. According to this theory, Jack the Ripper was a member of the royal family, specifically Prince Albert Victor, the grandson of Queen Victoria. Proponents of this theory point to the fact that the prince had a reputation as a womanizer, and that he was in the Whitechapel area at the time of the murders. Number 2. The Masonic conspiracy theory. This theory suggests that Jack the Ripper was a member of a Masonic group, and that the murders were part of a Masonic ritual. Number 3. The doctor or medical professional theory. This theory proposes that the killer was a doctor or other medical professional with knowledge of anatomy, as the murders were characterized by precise mutilations. Number 4. The insanity theory. According to this theory, the killer was driven to murder by a mental illness or other psychological condition. Number 5. The woman theory. Some researchers propose that the killer was a woman, pointing to the fact that the murders occurred in a largely female-populated area, and that the murders were committed at night when the streets were deserted. Number 6. The Polish barber theory. One of the most recent theories proposed by a researcher suggests that Jack the Ripper was a Polish-born barber named Aaron Kosminski, who was put into a mental asylum after the killings. It's worth noting that none of these theories have been proven, and the identity of Jack the Ripper remains a mystery to this day. The case of Jack the Ripper continues to captivate the public imagination, and despite the passage of time, the identity of the killer remains a mystery. The brutal nature of the murders and the failure of the police to catch the killer have only added to the intrigue and fascination surrounding the case. While many theories have been put forth, none have been conclusively proven, and the true identity of Jack the Ripper may never be known. But one thing is certain, the legacy of Jack the Ripper will live on as one of the most infamous and unsolved cases in criminal history. This is all about the chilling and curious case of Jack the Ripper. Despite the passage of time, the case of Jack the Ripper continues to captivate the public imagination. From the brutal murders to the ongoing search for the killer's identity, the story of Jack the Ripper is a chilling and intriguing one. Join us as we explore the crimes, the suspects, and the theories surrounding this infamous killer. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more serial killers and true crime content on our channel. Thanks for watching.